Good evening, everyone. This is BremSter, and tonight I'm coming to you with a puzzle called Fragmented Tile by fjam. This is an arrow puzzle that I have been told that I should be prepared to put a little bit of extra time aside for, in fact, quite a bit. And that I should definitely use the pencil mark checker on because I want to focus on the logic rather than the scanning. I have been told be prepared to possibly fail at this one because I have not been at my best for solving recently, and my tester came back saying this one is easily a 4. So I'm curious to see what will happen. I think I've given recent updates on the channel. I am definitely struggling a lot recently with just issues. So how that's going to work, I don't know. I'm going to try and bring content as much as I can. There's probably going to be a break coming up, and I will see what happens there, whether I'll release some stuff from the back catalogue, from other unpublished playlists. I don't know. We'll see how that all works. So as I said, I've been told this one could take me quite a while. So let's just get to it, shall we? Fragmented Tile by fjam. So normal Sudoku rules apply. In every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. And then we've got arrows. So along the arrow, digits placed on the arrows, the sum of those will get placed into the arrow circle. So the sum of those two will be that. The sum of those two will be that. The sum of those two will be that. That's what we've got. That's it. This puzzle's been loaded for a couple of hours. I will restart the puzzle to restart the timer, but on this one, I am not going for time. I honestly, from what the tester told me, it wouldn't surprise me if this one takes me an hour or maybe longer. I don't know. We'll see what we find. Let's give this a shot. So there's only one 3-cell arrow, and what we know about a 3-cell arrow is that the minimum we can put on this is 1, 2, 3, and there's no pills in this. So the maximum you can put into a circle is a 9. So this is 6, 7, 8, or 9. But that's all I've got. Is it this arrow? Because the minimum... I could do one. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Actually, no, it's not, because the minimum that those 5 could add, this is 6, 7, 8, or 9, because the minimum that these 5 could add to is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 15. So these have to sum to 15. So if this is a 5, this would have to be a 10. So this is also a 6, 7, 8, or 9 because of those 5 cells. So these are a minimum of 21 because there's 6 cells, and the minimum you can put into 6 cells is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are a minimum of 21 and a maximum of 24. Because the minimum these could be is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 21. And the maximum these can be is 7, 8, 9, which is 24. And it's the same here. These are 21 to 24, which means... What does that mean? So if these are 24, these are 20. So these are also 21 to 24. Because if these are 21, they're minimum. These are 24. And the reason for that is an entire column of a Sudoku. So let's look at this column. Let's use green. An entire column of a Sudoku will contain all of the digits from 1 to 9. And if you add all the digits from 1 to 9, you get 45. And 45 minus 21 is 24, and 45 minus 24 is 21. So if these are 21, these are 24. If these are 24, which is their maximum, these are 21. So these are between 21 and 24, and these are between 21 and 24. So I'm going to use blue for those. And green and blue here are between 21 and 24, and it's the same here. I'm actually going to use the same colors, but it's different here because this has an extra cell. And so those are interesting to me. I'm going to use yellow because the minimum here is 21, but I have to add that cell. But the maximum here is 24. So the minimum here is 21 plus this, which is 22. So this is either 22, 23, or 24. I am going to use a tracker for this. So I'm using just a spreadsheet to make some notes. So these are 22, 23, or 24 because the minimum in those cells is 21 plus whatever that is. So this is a 1, 2, or a 3. And these also, I'm going to use the same colors, green and blue, have minimum of 21 here. But the maximum on those is actually 23, which means these have a minimum of 20. These are only 22 to 24, which means there must be a 9 in one of those. Well, that was forced anyway because they're all arrow. All of those are arrow cells. Oh, that's not a 9. In fact, none of those are 9. Okay, I haven't had to explain this in about a year. So what we have here is called a swordfish, jellyfish. It's X-wing, then swordfish, then jellyfish. This is a swordfish on 9s. So what a swordfish means is on these blue cells, in these columns, in columns 3, 6, and 9, I can only place 9s in those cells because if I was to place a 9 on an arrow, it would be 9 1 minimum, and I'd have to put a 10 or higher into the circle, which isn't going to work. Now, because these are the positions of the 9s in the columns, what I then have to worry about is where can 9 go in the row? Because if this is, just as an example, if this is a 9, then that means I can't put 9 into either of those, which means now 9 has to be in one of those, which causes an X-wing on 9s. And what that means is if I was to then put a 9 here, I can't put 9 into any of these two cells, and now the 9 in this column has to go here, and you end up with that pattern no matter where I do. If I put and the important thing to realize is if, for example, I make this cell a 9, then that means I can't put 9 into any of those 3, which means when I put 9, say here, I can't put 9 into those. I could put 9 into I couldn't put it there, but if I put 9 here, now where do I put 9 in this column? It's not possible because I've knocked out those two with those and I've knocked it out of there. Because another way of explaining it is I only have 3 positions in these rows that I can put 9s, but I have to put 3 9s into these rows because it's 3 rows. And if I put an extra 9 anywhere in these rows, I'm placing a 4th 9, and all of a sudden I cannot fulfill them because I'm restricted to 3 9s in those columns. I'm explaining it badly because I haven't explained it in a while, but if that was a 9, I will not be able to fill the 9s in these columns because of the 9s being forced into only those positions. So this is not a 9. More importantly, none of these can be 9. Because these blue cells are the only ones that can take 9. Now this is 6, 7, or 8 now, so there must be a 1 in one of those. And these are how low can they go? Because I can't put a 9 in them, but the minimum they can be is 21 because these sum to 21 and 6, 7 and 8 is 21. This is a 6, 7, 8 triple. That's cool. So if these are 6, 7, 8, this is 21, which means this is 24. Hang on, is that right? Yeah, I can't put a 9 in any of those. So the maximum they can be is 21, and the minimum these can be is 21, which means these are 24, and those are 7, 8, 9. That's nuts. But there was a restriction here because those have a minimum of 21. This has to be a minimum of 22. So I'm just going to grab... I'm actually using my Killer Calculator spreadsheet options, and I'm grabbing all of the 3-cell options from 22, 23, 24, and I'm just putting them into a reference I'm using for column 8. So they can be 5, 8, 9, 6, 7, 9 if it's 22, 6, 8, 9, or 7, 8, 9. Which means there must be a 9 in one of these two, because there is a 9 in all 22, 23, or 24. But these are between 21 and 24, as are these. But if I don't include two... How high can I get if... Sorry, I'm thinking of this from an entropy perspective. If I use 5, 6, and 9, I've only got to 20. And if I... So I have to have 2 high digits to get to 21. Because 5, 6, 9, which is the highest I can make with only a single high digit, is 20. So there's 2 high digits in each of these. But that's going to cause a problem because there's 2... Because 2 of these are high, 3 of these are high, 2 of these are high, and 2 of these are high. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this in my head. So if this is high, but I've already... Okay, so let's say those two are high, which would be 7, 8, and 9. I need to make 2 of these high. Let's say it's those two. No, it couldn't be those two. I can't make those and those both 7, 8, 9 because then both of those would be 6. Because if this is 7, 8, 9, this is 7, 8, 9. I've got 7, 8, 9 triples. Both of those would have to be 6. That doesn't work. So let's say it's that one and that one. Well, if this is 7, 8, 9, then I've got a 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple, and that would have to be low. So if it's those two, this is a 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple. If I make it, so it can't be that one, so it becomes those two. This becomes a 6. Hang on, this is bonkers. It can't be those two and those two. Can it be those two and those two? So if it's those two and those two, I'm broken because both of those are 6. If it's those two, no, let's try those two and those two. Because this becomes a 6, so this becomes a 7, 8, because these would be 7, 8, 9. This would become a 6, so this would be a 7, 8, this would be a 7, 8, 9, and this would be a 6. And that's just if I do those two and that one. Doesn't matter where else I put the one down here. This would be a 6. If I do those two and that one, wherever I double up, one of these is becoming a 6. Is that right? Wherever I do the double up, the thing in here becomes a 6. So if I do those two and those two, that becomes a 6, and that's not a 6. If I do those two and those two, that becomes a 6. That's not a 6. I've now got a 7, 8, 9 triple, and that becomes a 6. If I do those two and those two, then this becomes a 6. This becomes a 7, 8. I've got a 7, 8, 9 triple, and that becomes a 6. This is always a 6. Because whichever two I select out of these is forcing a 6 in this column, which is giving me the third 7, 8, 9 in this row, meaning that has to be a 6. That's insane. And I don't think I explained that well. This is not a 6 anymore. This is a 7 or an 8. But 1, 2, 3 is in here. So this can't be a 7 or an 8 because the minimum I can put on this is 4, 5. This is 9. And these are 7 and 8. That, I feel I explained that badly. But this is a minimum of 22. So this is either 23 or 24. Well, this is now a 9. So these are a 7, 8 pair because this was a 7, 8 pair in the row. Actually, how did I get that? Oh, right, because of the X-wing on 9s, right. And this is now set, right. So, sorry, I shouldn't have. So this is 1, 2, 3. This is, 9 with 4, 5. And these are 7, 8. Giving me a 7, 8 pair in the row, making that a 9, which takes 9 out of those. Which puts 9 over here because I can't put 9 on the arrow. I'm second guessing myself all over the place here. But this is a 7, 8, 9 from 7, 8, 9 because I need to have 2 of 7, 8, 9 and this can't be 7, 8, 9. One of these at least is 7, 8, 9. In fact, this is a maximum of 5. So it's 4 or 5 because if it was 3, 3, 8, 9 is only 20 and this has to be at least 21 because this has a maximum of 24. Which gives me a 4, 5 pair in the row and these are from 1, 2, 3. This is nuts. But what's going on in this column now? because this is either... This is 22 or... Hang on, it can't... This is... If this is 24... No, this can't be 24. Because if this was 789, these would all be 789s, and these would both be 6. That doesn't work. So this can't be 24. Column 9 cannot be 24. So it's either 689 or 679. So there is a 9 in one of those two. So it's 679 or 689. So these are 789. Which means this isn't a 3 anymore, because if this is 21 plus 3, that's 24, and this can't be 789. This is not a 3. So 3 is on here. Hang on, this is a 6. And this is not a 6. This is a 7, 8 pit. I've broken the puzzle. I've broken the puzzle. What have I done wrong? I've done the math wrong somewhere. This has to be 4 or 5. So I've done something wrong here. No, this can't be 7, 8, 9. I've already proven this can't be 7, 8, 9. So one of these is... So let me roll back my spreadsheet as well. This can't be 789. So why did I put 789 in here? Because it can't be 789. So these are from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't want to get rid of the blue. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because they've got to be... They can't be 24. So they can't be 7, 8, 9. I think I said they can't be 7, 8, 9. So one of these is a 5 or a 6. But one of them has to be a 9. But... And this is 6, 7, 9... Well, there's a 6 here. So it's 6, 7, 9 or 6, 8, 9. But I think I'm still correct. This is 21. This has a maximum of 23. So this can't be a 3 or I'd be at 24. So this is a 1 or a 2. There is a 3 in here. So column 3, this is a maximum of a 5. So this is 21 or 22. Because 5, 8, 9, which is the maximum they can be, is 22. So column 3, I'm working with 4, 8, 9, 5, 7, 9, or 5, 8, 9. And these are still 1, 2, 3. Sorry, in rolling back, this is now an X-wing on 9s. I might change that to a darker blue to indicate that is an X-wing on 9s. I am very confuzzled. So I feel there's something going on with this weird shape. If this is a 7, if this is a 7, this is 6, 7, 9. Which means these would sum to 22. So these would sum to 23. So these would sum to 22. So these would be 6, 7, 9. So if this is a 7, yeah, I have to put a 7 in here. If this is an 8, I have to put an 8 in here. Basically, but hang on, that's not right. There's an extra cell here. If this is a 7, hang on, there's an extra cell here. If this is a 7, these are 22. Hang on, how... I can't put a 5 in here, can I? Because these have to be 22 or 23. There can't be a 5 in here. So this is a 6, 7, 8, 9. Because if I can't put a 5 in there. Hang on, I'm confusing myself. These are a minimum of 21. Plus that. So these are a minimum. These are 22 or 23. If these are 22, these are 21, and these are 24. Hang on, no. There's people who can do this math easily, and I'm not one of them. Okay, if this is 6, 7, 9, that's 22. Which means all of this sums to 22, which means that's a 1, and these sum to 21, and this is 24. If this is 23, and this is a 1, this sums to 22. And if this is a 2, this sums to 20. If this is 23 and this is a 2, this sums to 21. So this is 21 or 22. So this is 23 or 24. So the only options for those is 689 and 789. So I can never put a 5 in them. I'm sure someone's going to come along and say, you've got wrong logic, because this is breaking me. So this is 689 or 789. Now, if this is 7, this is 8. 7 here means this is 789, 24. Which means these are 21. 21 plus 1 would mean these would be 22, which means they'd be 6, 7, 9. And those would be 7, 9, and that would work. I think there's something going on in that column and I'm not seeing it. Because the rest of it, I don't have enough information on. This is 4 or 5. I think there's math going on here that I can't see. I, so even with notes, I'm losing track of what these are supposed to be. Minimum of 22. 679 or 689. So these are 789. I'll point out this is a 3-star puzzle according to Logic Masters Germany. It's why I don't recommend Logic Masters Germany as a site anymore. People over there are just using it for bravado. I think as a site, it contributes almost no value to the community. Um, so this math is just, I don't see it. Because this is the only thing that's got a discrepancy with the information we've got. I don't think it's this. Like 182736. It'd be 123876. 123 here leaves a lot of possibilities here. Maybe. Well, if this is 1, this would have. Well, hang on. If this is 1, this would have to be 6 or 7, and it can't be. So it's not 1. 2 could be 5. 3 would have to be 4. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is a bit restricted. Is it these playing off each other? Like if that's an 8, no, both of those are the same digit. No, let's use orange instead. No, let's use purple. Both of those are the same digit. But they could be there. No, they can't be because it's 7. Oh, no, they could be. That's a 7, 8, 9. I could put a 7 or an 8 there. So it's one of those. So that is one of those. I'm not getting it. So if this is 23, I know I've spent 15 minutes looking at this, but this is not working. If this is 23, these sum to 23. So this is 1 or 2, and this is 22, 21, or 22. No, 20. No, hang on. If this is 20, so this is 21 or 22. So this is 23 or 24. 6, 8, 9 or 7, 8, 9. So there's an 8 and a 9 in here with a 6 or a 7. So there must... But these are all quadruples. So does that do anything? I don't see how it does. I mean, can I do something here? Because this is 21. So this is 21 or 22. So these are... Sorry, this is 21 or 22. So these are 23 or 24. So these are 6, 8, 9. So these are also 6, 7, 8, 9. Because they've got to be 23 or 24 to offset these being 21 or 22. So these are 6, 7, 8, 9. But again, so what? Because I've got almost no information about these rows. There must be an 8 and a 9 in those. There must be a 9 in those, but if I hide the 9 there, then that leaves a lot of freedom for 9. And I've got to put an 8 or a 9 in here somewhere. one of these doesn't work, and I can't tell which. So if... Hang on. I'm trying to run this through again. If this is either 22 or 23. If this is... Sorry. This is 22. These are 21 and this is 24. If this is 23, this is 22 or 23. So there must be a 6 in here. 679 or 689. So there's a 6 in those. So this is 679 or 689. If this is 679, this is 22. These sum to 23. And this would have to... Hang on. What am I doing wrong here? If this is 689, this is 23. So these numbers just don't work for me. If this is 689, what can this be? Now, I've got all these maths wrong. So I'm working in negative maths, and I just... People who can see this stuff don't understand what this does to people who can't. So these are between 21 and 24. But this either has to be 22 or 23 because it's got the 6. But there's an extra digit in it. So these are 21 or 22. So column 9 is 21 or 22. That's these green cells. They're 21 or 22. So they're either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So if this... But that all works. Now, the most restricted would be 679, surely, because this would be 22. So these have to sum to 22. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no 6 in any of those. This now has to be a 1. There's no 1 here. And this just works. Except those are both 6s. Wait a minute. I can't make these 7, I can't make this 789. I can't make this 789. Because if this is 24, to allow this to be 21, so that this could be a 2 to make... This can't be 21, because if this is 21, this is 24, and then these are all 7, 8, 9, and those both become 6s. So this can't be 24. So if that can't be 24, this has to be 6, 8, 9. This is the 8. There's no 8 here. This is a 7, which is 5, 2, or 4, 3. But there's no 7 in those. This is an 8, 9 pair. I think that's correct. And there's no 7 in either of those. I think that has to be correct. This is now a 7, and there's no 7 in those. I'm sure someone's going to yell at me that that logic was faulty. There's now a 7 over here. But I'm not seeing a problem with any of that. Now, these sum to 23. But these sum to 22. So this is a 1. Because 22 plus what gets to 23, this is a 1. This has to be a 1. Because these are 22, because it's 45 minus 23 to get to whatever this is. If this was a 2, these would have to sum to 24, and they can't. So this is a 1. These are 1, 4, 5, and 7. Well, this can't. The only way to make 8 is with 4 is 1, 7, and the only way to make 9 is 4, 5. And this, so this can't be the 9 because this would have to be 4, 5, and it can't be. So this is the 8 with 1, 7, and this is the 9 with 4, 5, which means this is the 6, this is the 9. 8 comes out of there. This is 8, this is 6. This 9 takes 9 out of there, which this 8 takes 8 out of there. The 6, what did this? The 8 takes 8 out of there. 7 and 8 means this is 9, which means there's no 9 here. The 7 takes 7 out of there, which looks across taking 8 out of there. There's no 7 in there. There's no 7 there. This is now a 7-9 pair. This is nuts. I know it took me like 20 minutes to figure that out, and I'm still not 100% sure. This makes this, the 1-7 pair makes this a 6, which makes this a 3, which makes this a 4. This 6 looks over making this the 9, which makes this the 7 and this the 9. The 7 looks up meaning that's not a 7. But now I can do math on this column. Because 9, 7, I'm going to erase all of the math I've done and start from scratch because this is breaking me. It really is breaking me. So 9, 7, if this is 9, 7, 4, it's either 9, 7, 4 or 9, 7, 5. Hang on, 9, 7, 4. 9, 7, 4 would be 20. Which would mean these would have to sum to 25. I can't get to 25. This has to be 975, which means this is 4 and this is 5. And now 975 is 21, which means these have to sum to 24. This is an 8. Where do I put 8 in this column? This is a 1, 8. Oh, and there's an 8 looking at it. So this is the 1, this is the 8, which looks back, making this the 7 and this the 1. Now, this is a quadruple now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this can't be 2, 5. So the 2, 6 comes off there. This is 3, 4. And I can't put 3, 5. So this is not 3, 4. This is 2, 6. 3, 4 takes 3 off here. The 1, 2 means this is the 3. This 7 now. It could be 1, 6... in a particular order. Let's do this right. It could be 1, 6. Can't be 3, 4, but it can be 2, 5. I don't know why the green came off there. 1, 6 or 2, 5. This is a pair. 2, 3, 4, 2 and 5, which I can place. That's 2, that's 5. This is a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are 2 and 3. So this is a triple, which is 1, 6, no, 1, 7, and 8. So this is a 1, and this is a, oh, no, the 8 and the 7 are placed. That puts 7 right there by Sudoku. This 6 now. It can't be 1, 5 because there's 2 5s looking at it. So this is 2, 4, which means this is 6 and 1. And this 8 now has to be 3, 5. The 5's lining up puts a 5 down here. This is a triple. 1, 2. Well, actually, no. Where does 1 go in this row? Because there's a 1 in this box. This is a 1 and this is a pair. 2, 5. And I've kind of got all the arrows figured out. I'm sorry it took me so long to do all of this. 8 in this row now goes here. And this is 2 or 4 only. In fact, this box is just missing 2, 4, and 5, I think. So this is a 2, 3, 4, 5 quadruple. So what are these? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. And I know the order because of that 8. That's 6, that's 8. So 6 is now right there because 6 has to be in one of those two, and that 6 is knocking it out of there. That's a 6. So these are a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 and 4. And that 4 is telling me that's the 3, that's the 4. So now 3 is in one of those two. This is a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. Which I don't seem to... Oh, hang on. Oh, there was a 7 in purple. That's a 9, that's a 7. And these are 3 and 5. And that 3 is telling me order. 5 and 3. The 5 looks down, taking 5 out of there. The 2, 4 pair makes that a 5. This column needs 1, 2, 4. That's not that helpful. I'm going to get rid of all the colouring at this point. So I really struggled with this math. I know I did, and I'm really sorry, everyone. This is not the sort of puzzle I am good at. Is it this row now? 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 2, 4, giving me a 1, 2, 4 triple. Because it's 2, 3, 4, 5 in the row, but there's a 3 and a 5. So this is 2, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6 and 9. And there's a 9 looking at it. This is 6, this is 9. The 6 looks across making this 2 and this 6. The 2 looks back meaning that's not 2. This column maybe? 1, 2, 4, 5. That sees a 1. Oh, there's a 2 in the box, so there's no 2. Oh, 5 is down here. Right, because of the 5s lining up, there's no 5 there. I've almost got a fully pencil marked grid. I think I'm going to have to go for it. What have we got here? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And there's no 4 because of the 4 in the column. So this is 1, 3, 5. And so it's 1, 2, 3, 5. And there's a 1 and a 2 in the box. So this is a 3 or a 5. And again, it can't be a 5 because of the 5s lining up. So there's no 5 here. Now I'm going to use a trick I was taught by Ashish Kumar on Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles, which is another excellent Sudoku channel if you've never seen it. Now, I don't know what it stands for, but he calls it a bug pattern, which is when you get a grid which has a whole bunch of pairs on it and you see a single cell with a triple, there's going to be a problem with that cell because all of the pairs will be resolvable. I don't know what it is, but whenever he says, whenever you see a pattern like this, look for the problem in the cell with the triple, because that's the problem cell. One of those digits won't work. And he's got much better logic than I've got. But what I've learnt from him explaining the technique, and I don't know the technique well enough to explain it, but he's had several videos where he's explained it. That can't be a 1. If this is a 1, that becomes a 4 and that becomes a 4, and I can't put a 4 here because both of those would become 4s. It's like a weird Y-wing shape. But this being a 1 would make both of those 4s, and both of those 4s would be eliminated. But I got that because I was looking in the one cell that was a triple because of the technique I was taught by Ashish Kumar. So thank you, Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. So this can't be a 1, which gives me a 2-4 pair, which means this is the 1, which looks across making this the 3, this becomes a 5, this becomes a 4, and now it's all going to unwind, I think. This becomes a 2, which makes this a 3, which looks up making this a 2, which looks across making this a 4, which makes this a 1, which looks back making this a 5, which makes this a 4, this becomes a 5, this becomes a 3, the 5 looks down, making this a 2, which makes this a 5. The 2 looks down, making this a 1, which makes this a 2. The 2 looks down, making this a 4, which makes this a 2. The 2 looks across, making this a 3, which makes this a 2. The 3 looks across, making this a 4, which makes this a 3. And that is the correct solution. I could not figure out what was going on over here. I just couldn't do it. And the trick ended up being that if this, I think it was these, were 24, or it might have been these. It was either these or these being 24 because of the pressure on these arrows plus the extras or something. Then, yeah, I think it was these. Then I would run out of 7, 8, 9 and I would end up, yeah, it was these. If these were 24, to allow these to be 21 because of the 6 here. If these were 24, if these were 7, 8, 9, then I would end up with 2 6s. That was the problem. So it was a bit of math because these cells forcing these to be 20, these to be certain restrictions, forcing these to be 23 or 24. But if they were 24, then the 7, 8, 9s I'd found over here would force both of those to be 6, and that couldn't be done. If people on Logic Masters Germany are calling that a 3-star difficulty problem, wow, maybe there was something I missed. Yeah, I kind of look forward to the comments on this one because, wow, I'm just glad I got through it. I'm sorry, FJM, if I completely butchered your puzzle. Sorry. And I'm glad I used the pencil mark checker, even at the end there. I mean, it didn't really give me much at the end, but yeah, that is a really weird use of pressure. But that's a very minimalistic arrow problem. I think Simon would find this one, Simon from Cracking the Cryptic, would find this one absolutely phenomenal. Definitely punching above my weight on this one, and I'm really happy to have gotten through it. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll look at the stats and I would guess maybe 30 people who get this far through the video. As always, I hope you're enjoying the content. I hope you're enjoying the puzzles. And as always, good luck with your solving.